right? And I'm talking to the males right now. How should I look at her? What does current society tell you to do, how to look at her, right? For as much as we talk about what happens in these societies and many of the rights we're given, I do not believe there has been a time in history where there has been a greater objectification, I would even say commodification, of the female form. It's like unprecedented. Nearly every single thing that associated with selling something or with appealing to people's lower passion and so forth has to do with the female form, right? And now we live in an unprecedented time where, you know, young girls, young as 8, 9, 10 years old, they're looking in the mirror and they're worried what their figure looks like, and they feel they have to go on a diet, and they feel they have to live up to a particular image that they see out there, right? And that's, to me, that's criminal, and that's inhumane, right, to subject people to that you objectify a human being to that degree, right? The proliferation of pornography, for example. How does that work? How can societies allow that? Well, they put it under individual rights, right? As long as, you know, those people who are on there doing those pornographic acts, they're not being coerced and they're consenting, then who are we to say that they shouldn't be doing it? And if there are people who get their kicks out of that, watching that, then that's fine. But it's not fine, right? It's like saying that, you know, those children who work in Southeast Asia in those sweatshops and they make our Nike t-shirts and our iPhones and our other paraphernalia that we like to buy, and they work like 12, 13, 14, 15 hours a day, well, we could say, well, they consented, they're getting paid, right? But do you feel good about that, right? Is that like really consent? Or are they in a particular situation where they are being used and taken advantage of because they have no other way out, right? And many, many, many people who are disenfranchised and alienated, that's their life. I really believe that anyone who's in kind of the so-called sex industry, they are completely used and manipulated. And they are stripped of their humanity, completely deprived of their humanity. And they're stripped down to a mere object of, titillation for many other people, which to me is the one of the worst forms, the most despicable forms of a way of dehumanizing another human being. So obviously our gender relations can't be that, right? It can't be like just do what you want and do as you like and dress as you want and so forth, because that's the epitome of individual rights. In fact, from our ethos, from our perspective, the way that we conduct ourselves with others outside of our own personal space, it's done more for the benefit of others than our own benefit, right? Prophet ﷺ, for example, he told people to have a good appearance when they go outside. He told men especially to use tib, to use like a sweet-smelling perfume and things like this. He told people don't go to the masjid and you smell of onions or of garlic, right? And that also extends to many other things, like cigarette smoke. Sorry, don't go to Jama'ah and you just smoke something and then you go in there and you're smelling of cigarette smoke. You know, many other things, or you haven't taken a shower and these type of things. For whose benefit is that, right? Because you get accustomed to the smell, right? When you've just eaten garlic or onions, you're not really smelling it on yourself. So that's for the benefit of others. In other words, how I appear when I'm dealing with other people, it's not based upon what defines me and how it makes me feel. It depends upon how it makes others feel, right? You're really dressing for other people. You're not dressing for yourself. But what has happened in our paradigm, in this particular society, in this context, is flipped around. We're doing things for ourselves. I feel empowered, right? So the fact that you can go walk naked down the street, that's empowering. What does that mean? How is that empowering, right? How is being able to offend and to be the object of greater objectification by others and glances upon you, how does that empower, right? It's almost like it's issuing a challenge to say, I'm going to do this no matter what you like, and that's the way it is because this is an empowering thing for me. And again, it's a completely different paradigm. And the way I'm talking about it in this particular way, because if we were just to talk about it in terms of individual rights, we won't win that argument, right? If someone came to me and said, you know, you guys, you oppress your women, you make them wear, like long clothes and hijab and stuff like that. It's really oppressive. You make them do that, you know. And she should be allowed to do what she wants. If we take it from that perspective, from her individual right, then that's not, I don't want to argue that point, right? Because to me, that's not the epitome of humanity. Allowing people or people having the right to do exactly whatever they feel like at any one point in time, to me that's not humanity, right? That's what animals do. Animals can do whatever they want anytime they feel like it. And in fact, they actually don't do that, right? We attribute that to animals, but the animals are innocent from that particular characterization. But human beings, somehow, we think that we can just be free to do whatever we want at any time. And to me, that's not the opinion of humanity. Let's talk about it from the perspective of a communal perspective, of societal perspective, of trying to ensure harmonious relationships in society. Let's look at it from that. Then we can talk about the idea of people doing whatever that they want.